Hey everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun scroll saw project video, I have another amazing design by Steve Good, and it is a medieval theme design, which is really cool. I've already got everything prepped, but over Christmas break going into New Year's, I watched a ton of history documentaries in the afternoons when I was sitting in my chair. A lot of documentaries on King Henry VIII of England, King Ludwig II of Bavaria, the Knights of the Round Table, King Arthur, stuff like that, King Louis in the Palace of Versailles. Really cool. I love that era of history, and I watch documentaries about it all the time. And there's also a great show studying the excavation of those sites back from medieval times called Time Team. I wish it would come back on with Tony Robinson. Really cool if you guys are interested in that and want to go check it out. But I've got all the patterns printed out to their full size and attached to our material with clear packing tape, and everything in this project is going to be 1/4 inch material. As I said, it is a medieval theme design, and what better way to represent that era than with a beautiful shield and crossed swords. Very piratey kind of look too, and it's going to have a lion in the dead center of it as the crest of the shield, which is also really cool because I am a Leo. But really amazing. The pattern of the swords is a 2-page pattern, and you just have to cut out along the dotted line and attach it there in the center to get your full-size pattern. But since everything is prepped and I'm ready to get the first scroll saw video of 2023 going, let's head over to the drill press, drill the remaining pilot holes for this project so we can come back to the scroll saw and start scrolling. And over here on the drill press, we're gonna drill out the remaining pilot holes, and I say remaining because I drilled out the rivets with the larger drill bit for the shield when I was doing the prep work for the project. But after all the pilot holes are drilled, we will head over to the scroll saw and begin scrolling. I am using number 5 Ultra Reverse scroll saw blades, and they are cutting through the material exceptionally well with minimal chip out. And all of the detail here is in the lion, and there is some small tedious cuts, and sometimes it takes you longer to rethread the blade through the pilot hole than it does to do the actual cut. But I'm just taking my time and getting through all the smaller details before proceeding to the larger details. If you guys would like to try this pattern, it is available as a free pattern download over at Steve Good's scrollsawworkshop.blogspot.com website over in his free pattern catalog. As I said, I've been watching a lot of documentaries on kings and queens and stuff like that, just the royal feast that they would have, the celebrations they would have, the pomp and pageantry. It really fascinates me, and maybe one day I'll be fortunate enough to be able to travel overseas and tour some of those locations. If you guys like what you're seeing, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and also follow me over on Instagram at Artisan Pirate. I'd really appreciate the support. And usually I stack cut everything. I'm running thin on 1/4 inch material right now, so we're just making one of these projects in this video, but I am stack cutting some of the parts, and I'm using the same blade for all of the cutting on the whole project. Now all that remains is outside cuts to release all the pieces from the waste wood, and this is the biggest piece of the whole project, the cross swords. Kind of reminds me of a nice pirate logo. But I'm just being as loyal as I can to the cut line and letting the blade do the work. And the shield, I just used some packing tape here to attach the backer board to it and cut that out. That way I know both of them were symmetrical. When it was time to glue everything up, everything just lined up perfectly. And we will cut out the final smaller parts here. And the actual handle of the swords on the hilt has some small veining in it to look like it's wrapped with leather. And after I do these, all the scroll work will be done, and it will be time for sanding with 100 grit sandpaper in the palm sander. And I done front and back of all pieces here And this was all that was needed when it come to sanding. And I'm going to stain some parts with Minwax wood stain, using a sponge brush here to just make sure everything gets saturated with stain. And the parts I can hang up to dry, I do with wire hooks. And the parts I cannot hang up, I just stain and set aside to dry by the fan. And I will spray paint the backer board a nice burgundy color. And I went about doing other stuff in the shop and gave everything around an hour to dry. And then it was time to assemble, and I am using CA glue here with some accelerator to help along the way. But once everything was glued up entirely, I still set it aside for around 5 minutes to make sure the glue had bonded. And then it was time to finish it with several coats of Rust-Oleum clear gloss. And after that dried, this royal project was complete. And here we have the completed medieval knight shield, cut out completely on the scroll saw with some beautiful detail. Thank you, Steve Good, for another amazing design from your ever-expanding scroll saw catalog. Now, I got to be careful how I hold it because it is winter and it takes a longer time for the clear coat we added at the end to dry. It is a break in the weather. It's in the 60s. That's why I'm in a t-shirt, but it's still chilly outside with the breeze, and it will take this overnight to cure completely. But when it does, I'll flip it over and put a hook on the back and display it proudly. But a really fun project to kick off the year. Really, really cool. All the details are amazing, and I love the layered look of the swords there to give it a little 3D effect. And of course, I love the line in the center. I am a Leo in the zodiac signage, so that's really, really cool. You don't have to cut out the line. You could actually put in your own crest here if you're good with the design software and everything. And of course, you could enlarge this pattern to make it as big as a shield, but of course then you might have to start cutting stuff out with the bandsaw and jigsaw and with spiral blades, so just keep that in mind. But I had a lot of fun making it. It only took me around 30 minutes to cut out. Of course, the line in the center is the most tedious part, but as always, I take my time and let the blade do the work. And the clear coat we added at the end really made everything pop and come together. The stain we used to make things darker, and then the lighter natural wood of the sword that I used here, as well as the designs here on the hilt. And I chose that nice burgundy color because burgundy is a nice royal regal color that you see in a lot of portraits over there with kings and queens and all. And I hope to one day be able to travel over there and tour the castles and the historic cemeteries and places like that. I just love history like that. Maybe get to see the crown jewels and, you know, just tour stuff like that and tour history. I love touring history stuff. But really, really cool. I had a lot of fun making it, and I hope you guys like watching me make it. Welcome back to the channel for 2023. As long as the weather is bearable, I will be out here making stuff for a video to put up on the channel. But until then, until the weather breaks fully, it's going to be hit or miss with videos, so just keep that in mind. If a Monday goes by during the winter and I don't post, it was just too cold for me to practically be out here working and risk getting sick, you know. But really, really cool. Had a lot of fun making it, and I hope you guys like watching me make it. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel, and also follow me over on Instagram at Artisan Pirate. Links to all my social medias, as well as ways to contact me, will always be linked down in the description box below these videos. That's about all for this one, and remember guys, if I can make it or do it, so can you. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon.